The countdown to a possible strike against Iran is underway. President Trump says he's close to making a decision on an attack.
The president has a wide variety of options, including a limited first strike against some key targets in Iran. Paul Petit has the story from Jerusalem.
While U.S. military officials say they're prepared to strike Iran as early as Saturday, President Trump is weighing his options.
So now we may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
The Wall Street Journal reports that Trump is considering an initial attack on Iran, possibly within days, to force it to meet U.S. nuclear demands. The limited strike options include attacks on nuclear and ballistic missile facilities. If Iran still wouldn't go along, the U.S. could launch a broader military campaign in an effort to potentially overthrow the Islamic government. The Journal also reports that there is still a wide gap with negotiations. Iran is refusing to limit its ballistic missile program and has said that no country can deprive it of its right for nuclear enrichment.
And now is the time for Iran to join us on a path that will complete what we're doing. And if they join us, that'll be great. If they don't join us, that'll be great too. But it'll be a very different path.
If that path results in a full-scale war, a former U.S. Central Command deputy tells the Jerusalem Post the American military could dismantle Iran's power structure core within hours. Meanwhile, the European Union has formally added Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to its terrorist list, as Iran warns in this letter to the UN that if attacked, all hostile bases and assets in the region would be considered legitimate targets. The USS Gerald R. Ford is equipped to counter Iranian strikes. The aircraft carrier is expected to be positioned off Israel's coast to protect Tel Aviv and Haifa.
We're prepared for any scenario. And one thing is certain, if the Ayatollahs make a mistake and attack us, they will face a response they can't even imagine.
And while there are preparations for war here in the Middle East, the President's Board of Peace held its first meeting in Washington. In the inaugural meeting, Trump pledged $17 billion toward the reconstruction of Gaza. The board's plan also included more than 30,000 international soldiers and police officers to replace Israeli soldiers in Gaza, with Israel again saying it won't withdraw troops unless Hamas disarms. Paul Petit, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, please be in prayer for the Middle East. I think we're on the verge of a major change there. If the government of Iran changes, it means there's no longer funding for Hamas, for Hezbollah, these other groups. Now, will the ideology go away? And I think clearly, no, it won't. It'll definitely go underground. But in that going underground, they'll not have the funds to do what they have been doing against Israel, against other targets, the Houthis being funded to attack shipping in the Red Sea. All of these things would go away. And in its place, would there be a constitutional monarchy? Would there be a new Republic of Iran? Would there be open democratic elections? Would these things happen? Would that be possible? I remember the Arab Spring. I remember all the promise of that, that could democracy sweep the region. But in the aftermath of all of that, it seemed like the most organized groups, which happened to be the Muslim Brotherhood. I mean, they won the election in Egypt. Hamas won the election in Gaza. Let's keep these things in mind, that this is an ideological war in addition to the structures of government that need to change. The thinking needs to change. And how do we as Christians do our part to say, well, there's a whole nother way of living. There's a whole nother concept here. The God that you worship is not the right way. You don't go to heaven by killing other innocent people and setting off suicide bombers. That's not the path forward. The path forward is righteousness and peace and joy. Let's follow that pathway.